Hello, my name is Dr. Mandal, and today what I'm going to talk to you guys about is ancestral dreams, benefits of recognizing ancestral dreams. I found this article online, so that's what today's Dream Talk is going to be about. Usually on Dream Talk, I either find a topic that's online relating to dreams, or I bring about my dream books that I have on dreams, or I just share with you specific dreams that I have and how I process them and understand them better. I'm in no means someone's personal dream interpreter. I feel like I want to empower people to learn how to interpret their own dreams so they can be their own dream interpreter, so that you don't rely on someone to interpret your dreams for you all the time. There are people that can pick up on and sense what your dreams may be about, tap into their psychic abilities, and help you in that manner. But I feel like we should empower ourselves and learn about what our dreams are about, because our dreams are manifesting from our own consciousness, our subconscious mind. So it's coming from us and not outside of us. It's an internal world. And once you learn the symbols of that internal world, you start to understand how to decipher your dream and understand them more. So I'm going to get right into reading this article, and I'll leave the link for this article in the description below. So let's get on with it. So the name of this article is called The Benefits of Recognizing Ancestral Dreams. Here we go. Dreams can provide a quick path to connecting with our direct ancestors. They are waiting to remembered. Okay, that's a typo. They are waiting to be remembered. The road has simply been covered by a few inches of cultural plastic debris whose gods are industry and ecological warfare. But the older path is still laid, hidden in the dreams, folklore, and sayings of our families of origin. Exploring ancestral elements in dreams helped me move beyond gross stereotypes of my Irish, Scottish, and German heritage into a deeper connection with my past. They also, in general, keep me grounded. Thinking about ancestry, after all, has some clinically noted benefits, including boosting intelligence, confidence, and self-esteem. This is the ancestor effect. I've never heard of that, have you? The ancestor effect? So here we go. The ancestral dreams can when we lay out a strong intention for them, but they also can come when we need them. Sometimes ancestral dreams simply help with reframing a situation with a deeper significance. Other times, they may lead to unconsciously held information that is embedded in your own dream mythology and has been passed down for generations. The trick is recognizing them and then honoring them in waking life. Remembering the bigger picture. My wife and I recently had our son baptized. Even though I am comfortable with baptism on an intellectual level, I had some trepidation about the ceremony, simply because I come from a different background. I was raised Unitarian and chiefly as a humanist. My wife's uncle officiated the ceremony, adding another layer of inclusion and also well-meaning social pressure. The night before the baptism, I had the following dream. My wife's uncle is preparing a mine cart ride in the front yard of his home. I walk with him to make sure the path of the cart is clear. As we walk along, I am surprised to see there are no rails, but rather a stone path barely visible beneath the grass. Some large clear quartz crystal boulders line the path as well. We kick debris such as sticks from the path, and I see how the stones make up the path look very old, consisting of interlocking carved stones with intricate designs all over them. The patterns include spirals, concentric circles, and other sacred geometric patterns. In the dream, I wonder if they are Celtic in origin or if they are Native American. They seem to be both. As I fried up the bacon and eggs the next morning, I reflected on how the dream revealed some of the designs that one often sees in the architecture of the church. The amazing Bryn Athyn Cathedral, which I have no knowledge of at all. We can click on the link if we want to see the photo of it. where the ceremony was to be held, I puzzled over how it was a different uncle in the dream than who was presiding over the ceremony later that morning. I then had an aha moment when I remembered another significance. I also have my own family roots in this area of Pennsylvania. In fact, I'm a direct descendant of an Irish pastor who, in the 1680s, baptized members of his congregation on the banks of the Pennyback Creek, which happens to flow less than a quarter mile from the cathedral. Bringing the dream back into waking life. Remembering my own family legacy on this land, its association with the rites of baptism allowed me to relax completely about the ceremony. All day long, as I walked along the grounds, I imagined those intricately patterned stones at my feet, connecting me to my own ancestry, as I prepared the way for my son's spiritual path clearing. As it turns out, the iron spiral banister pictured above from the Brine Athene Cathedral also throws a spiral shadow onto the stones, much like the dream, as can be seen here. I'll click on it in just a bit, and then I can see if I can show you the photo of what this person's talking about. And after the ceremony, I spoke to both my wife's uncles about my ancestry and the dream. This was a move I made spontaneously, while most everyone else was eating coffee cake. I felt very vulnerable as I told the dream, but it opened up a new dialogue and connection with both men that had not been previously possible. Interesting. So let's click on that link so we can see the spiral shadows cast onto the stones. Let's see if we can see it. Oh, here we go. I've always been attracted to spirals too, and I've drawn them in and painted them in my artwork and added them to my dolls as far as embroidering the spiral. I feel like there's a spiral of life. The spiral can spiral inward or outward. It's a symbolization of life and what we go through. Sometimes we're more inward, going internally. Sometimes we're more outward. And sometimes we got to be a little bit of both on a daily basis. So anyway, here we go. Here's the photo of it. If you can see it well. I don't know if you can see it good. But all you can see is the curtains probably now. Can you see that now? So I'll leave a link in the description below, and then you can totally see it. I guess I can take this. I have my phone charging, so I can take that out now. I think it's charged pretty much. But yeah, I see those spirals. To tell you the truth, I never really saw the spirals. I just started drawing them and painting them in my artwork years ago. Just intuitively, because as I've said before, a lot of my artwork is pretty much you can call it freeformed. You can call it trance meditational art. You can call it automatic art. You can call it stream of consciousness art. For the most part, that's what my art's about, unless I have a commission piece to do where people have specific things that they want within the drawing or painting or whatever piece of artwork I'm commissioned to do. But on the average, when I'm creating, outside of a commission or whatever, it's all channeled and it's all coming from my ancestors, I believe, and me myself. My ancestors are within, is what I feel like. For a lot of people, it's easy for them to search outside to find their ancestors, and that was something that was really confusing to me for a long time, because growing up in a large dysfunctional family and only getting bits and pieces of stories, and stories that you can't really connect anything with completely, it makes it hard to find out what your ancestry is. I mean, when I've been told so many different stories about what my background is, little snippets of story, not like a whole full-on story. Some people have it easier that way, where they can sit down and chat it up with an elder or someone who's knowledgeable about their family tree. I don't have that. I just have little stories and hearsay here and there. And some of the people that have told me some of the things about my background history, it's questionable. I don't know if it's based in truth or based in some shit that's been made up, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's obvious what parts of my family are Native American, African. I've seen it just by looking at them. My one great grandmother on my dad's side, she totally had the Native American was straight, long braids, and her complexion was my complexion. And I think she lived for quite a while. She lived to be, I think, in her 90s, late 90s. But you can see it. You can see the ancestry. But the thing is like all over the world, we have so many different nationalities within us, and one reigns supreme a lot of the times. Like with me, it's the African heritage coming out. The hair, the thick, coarsely coiled hair, and you might say the facial features, but then even that, you look far back into history, ancestry. I mean, so many faces look similar, even if they're pale. So I could probably go in further talking about that ancestry and what does that mean, and what are we being told the truth about our ancestry? Because people go on to ancestry.com and think that they got the answers. They know their family history and all that, and now they feel complete. It's not even that easy for people of my descent to go off and go to Ancestry.com and find out, how far back my ancestry goes. You can't do that with most people that are of African or who are African American here. The whole roots story. That would just give black people, false hope, and also to create race wars, pretty much. That's what that whole roots thing was about. And him, Alex Haley, writing that book and saying that he went and traced back his ancestors, come to find out through research that it wasn't even his story, it was somebody else's story. So he made all that shit up. And I mean, he didn't make it up, he just literally copied it from somebody else and slapped his name on it. Whether you believe that or not, it's up to you. But you can't just trust everything that people tell you or what's in a book all the time. Books are awesome, don't get me wrong, but you can't trust everything. So I think that's the end of this article. Yeah. It's easier for some people to trace back their history, trace back their lineage. Some families have a closer tie with preserving traditions, preserving that ancestry's traditions, carrying on to the next generation. But the way things have been happening for the past, what would you say, 100 years or whatever or more, people have been integrating with other races, marrying, having children with other races, and so that blurs the line. It's hard to trace back everything. Even like during slavery times, when a lot of slave owners would impregnate the female black slaves, African slaves, more than once. I mean, but they would have to, hide these mixed children, or the mixed children probably could pass off for white, so they would have a little easier of a time back in those days. But when you start to get to where you're mixing the races a lot, it becomes harder, I would think, to trace back your family tree and where it all originated. So, I mean, yeah. I've had dreams where I felt like they're ancestral because I felt like I was so connected to the person that was approaching me within the dream. Like the dream I had of a wise one, and I said I've had this dream before, the wise one that came to me and asked me why am I not writing poetry anymore. And then I started writing poetry. I wrote one poem, but I would have wise beings come to me in my dream and ask me questions like that. And that, I feel like, is perhaps part of my ancestors coming to me in dream time, where I'm more receptive to those messages. Outside of dream world, sometimes we're not as receptive to these symbolic images and things that are around us all the time in our waking world, but we just don't realize it because we're in that 9 to 5 work, grind, shuffle, and all of these details, important details that we pick up during the day, we just pass them off as whatever. It's just a part of the day, and I got to get this shit done, you know what I mean, kind of thing. But we should definitely take some time out to reflect on the dreams that we have, because they probably are trying, the ancestors are trying to speak to you. If they can't get to you through the waking world, they'll get to you through the dream world, or they'll get to you through things that you choose to watch on television, movies you decide to watch. Your ancestors can creep up in there like they're trying to give you this message of this is why you should watch this, or this is why you should do this, or whatever, or to help out. A lot of times people just go, well, they'll tell you to honor your ancestors, and a lot of times people won't know what that means. And that was me way back when, in the early 90s, towards the late 90s, I was starting to get more into reading metaphysical literature and writings by different people, because I was having experiences that I couldn't come to my family members and ask them about, because it's topics that weren't of any interest to them. They were more on a surface level, they were more on the survival level, the material level, that kind of level. And I understand living on this planet and having to pay bills, pay rent, and have clothing on your back and shoes on your feet during the winter. I understand all of that and being able to survive. The one thing that people don't get is that it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And that's why the ancestors, I believe, that are within you. And I heard about this concept about the ancestors being within and not without through this man named Bobby Hemmett. And he has a series of videos on YouTube. It may not be to a lot of people's liking because he just slant on one area, and that's of the black race and our heritage and what we're all about. But when he mentioned that in one of his talks or lectures that he gave, it just made sense to me, because I was told that a lot by really spiritual people to honor, why don't you honor, put up an altar to your elders? And I'm thinking, what am I going to put up? Because our family wasn't really tight. I only heard snippets of details of what our family is about. But it's like there's so much things shrouded in secrecy too at the same time about our family that I want to get to the bottom of. But the thing is, it's like with those kind of issues, I feel like I can't approach my family members directly. What I'd have to do is meditate, go into a trance-like state, and just kind of connect with my ancestors in that way. And when I do that, I think some of it enters into the dream time with symbols and these messages telling me, giving me answers. So yeah, I hope you guys, I know it's a little noisy, let me close this. It's garbage day. Garbage/recycle/yard waste day. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful at all, and I hope this encourages you to really tap into the knowledge and wisdom that your ancestors left behind. If you find yourself drawn to certain symbols, certain types of spiritual literature, that can be clues as to what your ancestors were all about. It's what you're feeling you're attracted to naturally. That gives you that clue that you're on the right track to being able to discover more about what those who were before you did and how they deciphered their dreams, because they didn't rely on a dream dictionary, of that sort. I'm sure probably there's certain tribes that had the person that interpret the dreams, but there's tribes where people collectively join together and discuss their dreams, and others will give their viewpoint on what they think it could mean for that person. So there was this one really awesome lady. She's an artist. I can't remember. I know her first name was Dorothy, but I can't remember her last name. And she was in her late 70s. And I met her when she was in her late 70s. And she was talking to me about how she gets together for a group to do this like dream like group where each person shares their dream and each person gives an interpretation of what the dream might mean in their own perspective. And she draws from her dreams. She was making paintings from her dreams. And it kind of reminded me of Chagall paintings, if you guys are familiar with Chagall. But the style was similar to me. And they were really beautiful and made you feel like it was a dream. I started drawing from my dreams a little bit before I met this woman, and not on a consistent basis, but when one dream just really is sticking out and just keeps coming to the surface of my mind, then I start to feel like, oh, I think I want to draw it. I have a few drawings like that, but I haven't really like completely perfected them. There was only one that I did, but it was inspired by a dream. I sold it though. But yeah, these dreams give you hints into what's going on within your internal world, which is where a lot of the magical dream symbols happen. When you tap in and you meditate, really truly meditate and go deep into that trance and try to recall your lineage, your ancestry, eventually it will come to the surface, or you'll get led to certain things that'll help you, like books, people, what have you. If you ask for the guidance, you will receive it. So yeah, thank you for joining me today for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it and hope it helps you. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for the likes and shares, and thank you for your kind comments. Leave your comments down below and let me know if you've had any ancestral dreams. And you can feel free to share them if you like. If you'd like to support this channel, you can donate $1 or more to my PayPal at kdaddydmama@comcast.net and include a question you'd like to see answered on an upcoming show. It's not required to pay to watch the shows on this channel. It's just people have asked how they can support this channel, Dark Moon Doll, my other channel, The Productive Cannabis Connoisseur, and also Healing with Color. So those are the 3 channels that I have. And yeah, it's not required, but the money would go towards saving up to get a camera, so I'm not taxing the camera on my phone, because I use my phone for everything right now because I don't have a separate camera. Even use it to load up photos, to put pictures on my Etsy. I mean, that's one big ordeal, let me tell you. And also to save up to buy land, to build tree homes, to grow all the fruits and vegetables I can, and also to grow all of the medicinal herbs that I can on that property. And once I'm set up in that type of situation, then I can help other people. And that's something I would love to do, be able to do. So that's what that money is about for the PayPal. Also to keep the lights on here, help with rent, because it's way more expensive where I'm living right now. And it's way more stressful for that reason. For other reasons too, but that's one of the main reasons. So yeah, I'm laughing not because it's funny, because like, yeah, that's how it is in California. You swim or drown pretty much. So yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone. Brightest blessings to y'all, and please do take heed of your dreams and really see them as being something important, because we're such busy people. We don't see your dreams as being as important as we did when we were kids. Your dreams are just as important as they were when you were a kid. Probably even more so. So, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Brightest blessings to y'all, and I will see you soon.